If you're receiving Social Security benefits and your birthday falls between the 11th and 20th of any month, September 17th could be one of the most important dates on your calendar, and there's crucial information you need to know that could affect your payments for years to come. In the next few minutes, I'll break down exactly who gets paid on September 17th, reveal the shocking truth about rising Medicare premiums that are quietly eating away at your benefits, and expose the outdated calculation method that's costing seniors hundreds of dollars every month. Plus, I'll show you exactly what you can do about it. Welcome to Financial Area, where we break down the financial news that matters most to your wallet. If this information helps you, hit that like button and subscribe for more money-saving updates delivered straight to your feed. Let's start with the most immediate concern. Who exactly will be receiving their Social Security payment on Wednesday, September 17th, and why this date matters so much? If your birthday falls between the 11th and 20th of any month, mark September 17th on your calendar, because that's when your monthly Social Security benefit will hit your account. This isn't random. The Social Security Administration uses a carefully structured payment schedule that divides recipients into 3 groups based on birthdates. Here's how it works for September 2025. If you were born between the 1st and 10th of the month, you already received your payment on September 10th. If your birthday falls between the 11th and 20th, Wednesday the 17th is your day. And if you were born between the 21st and 31st, you'll need to wait until September 24th. This staggered system exists for a reason. It helps the Social Security Administration manage the massive logistics of distributing billions of dollars to over 70 million Americans every single month. By spreading payments across 3 weeks, they can ensure the system runs smoothly and efficiently. But here's where it gets more complicated. If you receive Supplemental Social Security, or SSI, your payment schedule works differently. SSI recipients typically get their money on the 1st of each month. But September was different. Because September 1st fell on a federal holiday, SSI payments were moved up to August 29th. This is standard practice. When the 1st falls on a weekend or holiday, payments are issued on the last working day before. Now, if you're one of those people who receives both SSI and regular Social Security benefits, what we call dual beneficiaries, your payment schedule can seem confusing. Normally, you'd get SSI on the 1st and Social Security on the 3rd, but with the holiday adjustment in September, both payments were moved. SSI came on August 29th and Social Security on September 3rd. The key to staying on top of all this is knowing exactly when to expect your money. The Social Security Administration publishes an official payment schedule chart that covers the entire year. You can find this directly on their website, and I strongly recommend bookmarking it. This chart is your definitive source. Don't rely on third-party websites or unofficial information when it comes to something as important as your monthly income. If your payment doesn't arrive on the expected date, don't panic, but don't wait either. Contact the Social Security Administration immediately. Delays can happen due to bank holidays, processing errors, or problems with your account information. You can check your payment status online through your My Social Security account or by calling their toll-free number. Now, getting your payment on time is just part of the story. What's really concerning is what's happening to the value of those payments, and it starts with Medicare premiums that are rising faster than your benefits. Here's a number that should alarm every Social Security recipient. By 2026, Medicare Part B premiums could exceed $200 per month. That represents a staggering 12.6% increase from current levels. To put this in perspective, the standard monthly premium was $174.70 in 2024. It's jumping to $185 in 2025. That's a $10.30 increase, or about 5.9%. But the real shock comes in 2026, when experts project it could top $200. But premiums aren't the only cost going up. The annual deductible for Part B is also climbing from $240 in 2024 to $257 in 2025. That's a 7% jump in just 1 year. Now, you might be thinking, well, doesn't Social Security give us cost of living adjustments to handle inflation? You're absolutely right, they do. But here's the cruel irony that's devastating millions of seniors. Those Medicare premium increases are often eating up the entire COLA increase, leaving you with little to no net gain in your monthly income. Think about it this way. Let's say you get a 3% COLA increase on your Social Security benefits. That sounds good, right?
But if your Medicare Part B premium goes up by $15 to $20 per month at the same time, that increase gets deducted directly from your Social Security payment. So your gross benefit goes up, but your net payment, the money that actually hits your bank account, stays the same or might even go down. This creates what advocates call a vicious cycle. Your living expenses are rising due to inflation, groceries, utilities, housing costs, but your actual spending power remains flat because healthcare costs are consuming your benefit increases. It's like running on a treadmill where the speed keeps getting faster, but you're not actually getting anywhere. This situation is particularly devastating for people on fixed incomes. When you're retired or disabled and living primarily on Social Security, every dollar matters. A $20 monthly increase in premiums might not sound like much to someone earning a regular paycheck, but when your entire monthly income is $1,200 or $1,500, that $20 represents a significant portion of your budget. The numbers get even more sobering when you look at the long-term trend. Healthcare costs have been rising faster than general inflation for decades, and there's no sign this pattern is changing. Meanwhile, Social Security recipients are stuck in the middle, watching their purchasing power erode year after year despite receiving what appeared to be benefit increases on paper. This brings us to perhaps the most important issue affecting Social Security recipients today, a debate that could literally put hundreds of extra dollars in your pocket every month. But it requires understanding why the current system is failing you. The cost of living adjustment, or COLA, that determines how much your Social Security benefits increase each year, is currently calculated using something called the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. That's a mouthful, so it's usually just called CPIW. Here's the problem. This index measures the spending patterns of working people, not seniors. It looks at what urban wage earners and clerical workers buy and how much those things cost. But if you're 65, 70, or 80 years old, do you really spend your money the same way a 35-year-old office worker does? Of course not. Seniors typically spend much more of their income on healthcare and housing, and much less on things like transportation, education, and entertainment. The CPIW gives these categories equal weight to what working people spend, but that doesn't reflect the reality of senior spending patterns. There's a solution, and it's been sitting there all along. It's called the Consumer Price Index for the Elderly, or CPIE. This index is specifically designed to track the costs of goods and services that matter most to Americans aged 62 and older. It gives much more weight to healthcare costs, prescription drugs, and housing expenses, the things that actually make up the bulk of senior budgets. Here's the eye-opening part. If Social Security had been using CPIE instead of CPIW over the past decade, many recipients would be receiving $300 to $500 more per month right now. That's not a one-time bonus. That's every single month for the rest of your life. Let me give you a concrete example. In years when healthcare costs spike, like during a pandemic, or when new expensive treatments become standard, the CPIE would capture that increase much better than CPIW. Your COLA would be higher, meaning your Social Security benefits would keep pace with your actual living expenses, not the living expenses of someone still working full-time. The difference compounds over time, too. If you're getting an extra $50 per month because of a more accurate COLA calculation, that becomes $600 per year. Over a decade, that's $6,000 plus all the additional increases that would build on that higher base amount. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars in additional benefits over a typical retirement. So why hasn't this changed already? Politics and cost, plain and simple. Switching to CPIE would mean Social Security would pay out significantly more money each year. Some estimates suggest it could cost the system an additional $100 billion annually. In an environment where politicians are already worried about Social Security's long-term solvency, proposing a change that increases costs is politically challenging. But here's what advocates argue, and they make a compelling point. Social Security isn't supposed to be a bare minimum survival program. It's supposed to help you maintain your standard of living in retirement. If the current calculation method is systematically underestimating the real inflation rate that seniors face, then the program isn't fulfilling its core mission. The good news is that there is growing bipartisan recognition of this problem. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have introduced bills to switch to CPIE or similar measures.
The challenge is building enough political pressure to actually get these bills passed. This is where you come in, and your voice actually matters more than you might think. Elected officials pay attention to constituent feedback, especially on issues like Social Security that directly affect large numbers of voters. If you believe the current COLA calculation is unfair, you can do something about it. Start by contacting your representatives in Congress. Don't just send a form email. Write a personal message explaining how rising costs are affecting your daily life. Share specific examples of how healthcare expenses are eating into your budget or how your purchasing power has declined despite receiving COLA increases. These personal stories are powerful and help lawmakers understand the real-world impact of policy decisions. There are also advocacy organizations working on this issue that you can support. Groups like Social Security Works, AARP, and the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare are actively lobbying for changes to the COLA calculation. They organize letter writing campaigns, provide talking points for contacting representatives, and work to keep these issues in the public eye. You can also make your voice heard at town halls and public meetings. When your representatives are back in the district, attend their events and ask direct questions about their position on Social Security COLA reform. These public forums get media attention and help raise awareness of the issue. The political landscape for Social Security reform is complex, but there are reasons for optimism. Both parties claim to support protecting Social Security, and the math problem with CPIW versus CPIE is pretty straightforward to understand. Unlike some policy debates that get bogged down in ideology, this is really about accurate measurement and fairness. Realistically, change won't happen overnight. Major reforms to Social Security typically take years to move through Congress, and they often require significant political pressure to overcome institutional inertia. But changes do happen when enough people demand them, and this issue affects tens of millions of Americans who vote regularly. In the meantime, there are practical steps you can take to protect yourself. First, stay informed about all Social Security and Medicare changes. Follow official sources like the Social Security Administration website, and be wary of misinformation on social media. Understanding exactly when your payments are coming and how much to expect helps you budget more effectively. Second, review your Medicare coverage annually during open enrollment. Even small changes in plan selection can save you hundreds of dollars per year in premiums and out-of-pocket costs. Those savings become increasingly important as premiums continue to rise. Third, keep detailed records of your benefit payments and any deductions. If you notice discrepancies or unexpected changes, contact Social Security immediately. Errors do happen, and catching them early can save you significant headaches later. Finally, stay engaged politically. This isn't about partisan politics, it's about ensuring that programs you've paid into your entire working life actually work for you when you need the most. Your representatives need to hear from you regularly, not just during election season. The September 17th payment date is just one small piece of a much larger puzzle involving Social Security, Medicare, and your financial security. While you can't control when payments are scheduled or how fast healthcare costs are rising, you can control how informed you are and how actively you advocate for fair treatment. Remember, Social Security and Medicare aren't government handouts. They're benefits you've earned through decades of work and payroll taxes. You have every right to expect these programs to provide the security and healthcare coverage they were designed to deliver. The fight for fair COLA calculations and reasonable Medicare costs isn't going to be won by politicians or policy experts alone. It's going to be won by millions of Americans who depend on these programs speaking up and demanding better. Your voice matters, your vote matters, and your financial security is worth fighting for. If this video helped you understand what's happening with your September 17th payment and the bigger issues affecting Social Security recipients, make sure to like it and subscribe to Financial Area for more updates on the financial news that affects your daily life. We're here to help you navigate these complex systems and protect your hard-earned benefits. The next time someone tells you that Social Security recipients are getting adequate cost of living increases, you'll know the real story. And more importantly, you'll know what you can do about it.